I did not plan to open that door. If I had known what was behind it, I would have left my father's house that same day and never returned. But I didn't. And now I carry a truth that has refused to let me sleep since the day I found it. My name is Zainab Musa, and until last year, I believed my father was the best man alive. Alhaji Musa. That was what everyone called him, with respect, with pride. In our town, his name opened doors.
Welcome to Latongu Tales. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss a story. Now grab your popcorn. Let's dive into today's tale.
He built mosques, paid school fees for children who were not his, and settled disputes among families. People said he had a soft heart, a heart of gold. Even I believed it. I was his only daughter. My mother died when I was young, so it was always just the two of us. He never remarried. He said no woman could replace my mother. And for that, I loved him even more. But love can blind you. And sometimes, the people we trust the most are the ones hiding the darkest secrets. It started the week after his burial. The house felt different. Too quiet. Too heavy. Relatives had come and gone. The prayers had ended. The condolences stopped. And suddenly, I was alone in a house that no longer felt like home. I told myself it was grief. But deep down, I knew something wasn't right. My father's room was always off limits when he was alive. "Respect my privacy, Zainab," he would say gently. And I did. I never questioned him. Until he died. 3 days after everyone left, I decided to clean his room. I don't know what pushed me. Maybe I was looking for memories. Maybe I just didn't want to feel useless in a house filled with silence. At first, everything looked normal. His clothes were neatly folded. His prayer mat was still in its place. His familiar scent lingered in the air. It almost made me cry. But then, I noticed something strange. One of the walls. It didn't match the others. At first glance, it looked normal, painted the same color, smooth like the rest. But when I moved closer, I realized something was off. There were no nails, no marks, no signs that anything had ever been hung there. Just emptiness. Too perfect. I placed my hand on it, and that was when I felt it. A slight hollow sound. My heart skipped. I knocked again. This time I was sure. That part of the wall was not solid. Maybe it's nothing, I whispered to myself. But my body refused to move away. Something inside me, something I couldn't explain, kept pulling me closer. I searched the room for anything unusual. That was when I found the key. It was hidden inside one of his old books, a small, rusted key wrapped in cloth. My hands began to shake. I didn't know why. I didn't even know what I was expecting. But I knew that key belonged to whatever was behind that wall. It took me almost 10 minutes to find the lock. It was hidden so well, I almost missed it. A tiny metal edge, barely visible. My breath became heavy. "Ya Allah," I whispered. I should have stopped. I should have walked away. But I didn't. The key turned, slowly, with a sound that still echoes in my head to this day. Click. The wall shifted, not loudly, not dramatically, just enough to reveal a narrow opening, dark, silent, waiting. A cold air brushed against my face, And in that moment, every part of me screamed to run. But curiosity is a dangerous thing, and grief makes you brave in the worst ways. I stepped inside. The room was small. No windows, no lights except the one from the opening behind me. At first, I couldn't see anything clearly, but as my eyes adjusted, I wish they hadn't. There were pictures, dozens of them, pinned to the walls. Men, women, children, some smiling, some crying, some looking like they were taken without permission. My heart began to race. What is this? I moved closer, and that was when I saw the markings. Red ink, circles drawn around faces, strange symbols I did not understand, and dates. So many dates. My hands trembled as I picked one. It was a picture of a young boy, no older than 10. On the back, something was written, completed. A sharp pain hit my chest. No, this doesn't make sense. My father? No, not him, not Alhaji Musa. I dropped the picture, but then something else caught my attention. A wooden table in the corner. On it were items I could not explain. Black candles, a small calabash filled with dried blood, and a book. I stared at it for a long time before touching it. My instincts told me not to, but I had already come too far. The book was old, worn and heavy, as if it carried something more than just paper. When I opened it, that was when my world shattered. Names, hundreds of names, written carefully with dates beside them, and next to some of them, the same word I saw earlier, completed. My knees went weak. I flipped through the pages faster, praying, hoping to find a mistake. But instead, I found something worse. A name I recognized. A girl from our street. She went missing 3 years ago. Her case was never solved. People said she ran away. Some said she was kidnapped. But her name was here, in my father's book, marked completed. My stomach turned. I couldn't breathe. This is not real. Then I saw the last page, the most recent entry, written in fresh ink. My hands shook as I read it. And in that moment, everything inside me broke, because the name written there was mine, Zainab Musa, pending. I didn't scream. I couldn't. My voice froze somewhere between my chest and my throat as I stared at the final entry in that book. Zainab Musa, pending. Pending? What did that even mean? My heart pounded so loudly I could hear it in my ears. My hands trembled as I slowly stepped backward, my eyes still fixed on the page, as if looking away would make it all disappear. But it didn't. Nothing about this was a mistake. This was real. Then I heard it. A soft sound behind me, like a foot dragging across the floor. My body went cold. I knew I was alone in the house. I had locked the doors myself. So who was behind me? Slowly, very slowly, I turned around. Hello? I managed to whisper. No response. But the air had changed. It was heavier now, thicker,
like something unseen had entered the room with me. I'm imagining things, I told myself quickly. It's just fear, just fear. But deep down, I knew better. Then I saw it. At the entrance of the hidden room, a shadow, tall, still, watching me. My breath caught. Hello? The question came out sharper this time, but it shook with fear. The shadow didn't move, but I felt it. That presence, that cold, suffocating presence pressing against my chest. Then it stepped forward, and my world stopped. It wasn't a stranger. It wasn't even human. It was my father, but not the man I buried, not the Alhaji Musa everyone loved. This one. His eyes were dark, completely black, like something had swallowed the light inside them. His face was the same, but twisted, stretched by something unnatural. And his voice, when he spoke, it didn't sound like him. Zainab. I staggered backward, nearly falling. No, no, you're dead. A slow smile spread across his face. If only death was the end. Tears filled my eyes. This is not real. This is not real. You were not supposed to find this room, he said, stepping closer. Each step felt like the ground beneath me was disappearing. What is this? I cried. What did you do? He tilted his head, as if amused. I did what was necessary. My anger broke through my fear. Necessary? Those are people, children. You killed them. Silence. Then, they were sacrifices. The word hit me like a slap. For what? I shouted.
For everything you enjoyed, he replied calmly. This house, our name, the respect, the power. My stomach turned. No, no, you are lying. He took another step closer. And now it is your turn. My heart stopped. What? The ritual is not complete, he said. It requires blood from my bloodline. I shook my head violently. No, no, I'm your daughter. Yes, he said quietly, and that is why it must be you. I turned and ran. I don't even remember how I got out of that room. I just ran through the hallway, out the front door, barefoot, crying, screaming. But something followed me. I could feel it. That presence, that darkness. It didn't need to chase me. It was already inside my life. For days, I didn't go back home. I stayed with a distant relative in another town. I didn't tell them everything. Who would believe me? That my father, a respected man, a religious man, a good man, was a monster. But the nightmares didn't stop. Every night, I saw the same thing. That room, those faces, that book, and my father calling my name. Zainab, you cannot run forever. I stopped sleeping, stopped eating, stopped living. Until one day, I made a decision. I was not going to die for his sins. If what he started needed to end, then I would end it. I returned to the house, alone, afraid, but determined. The moment I stepped inside, I felt it again, that heaviness, that darkness. But this time, I didn't run. I walked straight into his room, opened the hidden door, and entered. The air was colder than before. The pictures were still there, watching me, accusing me. "I'm ending this," I whispered. The moment I picked up the book, the room changed. The door slammed shut behind me, and his voice filled the space. "You came back." I turned slowly, and there he was again, watching, waiting. "You should have stayed away," he said. I held the book tightly. "No, this ends today." His expression darkened. "You cannot stop it. Watch me." I grabbed one of the candles and knocked it over on the table. Flames spread quickly. The book caught fire. And then everything exploded into chaos. The room shook violently. Voices screamed, hundreds of them. The faces on the wall began to bleed. The air filled with cries, anger, pain. My father screamed, but this time it wasn't in control. "What have you done?" "Ending it!" I shouted. The fire grew stronger. The book burned faster. And with it, that darkness, that evil. He reached for me, but something stopped him. Hands, dozens of hands, dark shadows rising from the walls, grabbing him, pulling him back. "No, no, I made you. You owe me." His voice was cut off as the shadows dragged him into the darkness. And then,
silence. The fire died. The room became still. I fell to my knees, shaking, crying, alive. I left that house for good. I never went back. They still speak of my father as a great man, a kind man, a generous man. But I know the truth. The evil that men do does not die with them. It waits. It grows. And if no one stops it, it consumes everything. But sometimes it takes one person to end it.